let's go to Morocco, where there is a team from this southern tip of Africa that is the champion of WAFCON, the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, who are hoping to bring back the trophy back home when the tournament of the 12 nations that are competing in North Africa comes to an end. And we are now joined on the line by a lady who knows exactly how to dissect and analyze insightfully and incisively this game of billions, this game of football that we all love so much. Coach Simphiwe Dludlu, good evening and welcome to Power Sport Extra, my lovely sister.
Good evening. How are you, BBK?
Still black and proud, my sister, and you told me never to change, so I will not. How are you doing?
I am well because there's less heat with this game that we are anticipating. So, yeah, today it has been great for me.
Yeah, indeed, Simphiwe. Tanzania heading into this game as the lowest ranked of all the 12 participating teams, and nevertheless, the reigning champions Banyana Banyana will not be taking the Twiga Stars lightly when they kickoff takes place at 9 o'clock. We have no reason to even think that it's going to be a walkover, Coach.
Absolutely not. It will never be a walkover because this tournament has proven so much integrity, has proven how much women's football in Africa has grown. As much as Banyana Banyana will be bringing the heat, the East African queens will be saying that we've played you numerous times in the COSAFA Cups, and the last meeting was the Olympic qualifiers and narrowly lost in the second leg, even though the first round was a 3-0 drubbing from Banyana Banyana. And I saw Tanzania train, and you can see they more like us. They are very agile, they are quick, they know how to pass. They just have to try and work harder because that experience of Banyana Banyana is going to be a mammoth of a task to try to overcome.
Most definitely. And the coach, Dludlu, we began our defense of this title with a comfortable 2-0 victory. But it was not all smooth sailing against Ghana, especially in the second half. As Mpo, I don't know if you were listening earlier on, if you're already on the line, alluded to the fact that we seem to take things a bit easy or try to defend and sit back in the second half. I don't think that is a tactic that we must take going forward, because if you are able to score 2 goals in the manner that we did in a space of 6 minutes, it means that we can be able to press on as well and get more, so that we can make a statement that we are here to make sure that we defend this title. I would be expecting that we will be going guns blazing against the Tanzania side that I've already mentioned is the lowest ranked of all the 12 nations that are taking part in this competition.
Absolutely. Banyana Banyana is coming in with a target on their back. Every team wants to beat them. When you can do well against the champions, you edge closer to the trophy. So it's going to be important for Banyana Banyana to rectify the mistakes that they made against Ghana, because Ghana hit the crossbar twice. And if they would have scored in those 2 goals, the game would have changed the complexion in its entirety. So it's going to be important for them to watch out for the spaces that they leave, especially with the fullbacks. Andile had to pull 5 brilliant saves, which tells you, Gutin, this is a Ghana team that woke up in the second half with the different players that came on, and Tanzania will want to start very strong and show up how they did against Mali in the second half.
Yes, indeed. And also, I'm sure that this is not the only game. This is not the only side that you've watched. Tell me so far, Coach Dludlu, what your impressions has been of the tournament so far. I saw Nigeria getting a glut of goals in their first game, but then came almost unstuck when they played against Botswana. Botswana being stubborn, being resolute in defense. Nigeria only managing to break them and breach their defense in the 88 minutes as they won with a slender 1-0 goal last night. So when you look at the game and the tournament rather in its entirety, what has been some areas that has impressed you and what teams have caught your eye so far?
Teams are scoring goals. That is something that is impressive about these teams and these players, is that there's so much quality in attack of every team. They're scoring goals. The opening game already gave us 4 goals. And you saw how Senegal, that is a team that went on to play in the playoffs for the World Cup qualifiers. They also edged Zambia, until the end. And you also look at Nigeria, how they almost drew against the Mares of Botswana. That shows you, Guti, the game is improving so much. So I'm also impressed by the North African teams, Tunisia and Algeria. A lot of their players ply their trade in France and overseas. That shows you, Guti, a lot of these players are going out of their country to make sure that the standard and the quality of football that they bring to the national teams is great. I mean, you think about it right now, there's 261 players, over 261 players that are in this tournament from the 12 countries, and 148 of them play overseas outside of Africa.
Yeah.
I'm not counting the ones that are playing outside of their countries in Africa, but outside of Africa, which means they're playing in much bigger leagues, competitive leagues. And that's why the standard of football keeps on growing and becoming better and better in Africa. So far, I'm impressed by the young stars that are coming through. The consistency of the Moroccan side, they are showing why they are hosts, and they try to edge closer to maybe this time around they can clinch it, but it's not going to be an easy one. You are also looking at a Mali side that started so high, and this is a team that also played in 2018. So you are seeing that these teams are coming back again and trying to prove and be even better. There's only one woman coach we've seen so far, but the quality of the coaching and the quality of the tactics, there's gone are those days where you see scores of 10-0, 9-0 in a tournament.
Yeah.
So that is quality football we are seeing.
You mentioned the word impressive, Coach Dludlu. I am one who is impressed by you and your incisive analysis, and that's the reason why we called upon you to come and share your wisdom. And I'm not the only one, because on Twitter, Fitness Classes, Ubudad is saying that looking forward to this conversation you're going to have with Coach Dludlu, and he calls his mate at David Rubin to say you should check it out. Simphiwe Dludlu always brings great insights, and it's got fire emojis there. You are hot indeed, like the hot weather in Morocco that you are in, Coach Dludlu. But now we're looking at a Nigeria that wants to say, hey, this thing is ours. Hey, Africa and the world, we are the ones who have won this more than anybody else, and we know the rivalry that exists with Nigeria and South Africa when it comes to football. The Super Falcons and the Super Eagles, when they see Banyana, when they see Bafana, they want to make sure that they send a message and make a statement. Do you think that Nigeria have got what it takes to be able to get a record-extending title in Morocco?
Nigeria will always be the favorites simply because of their stats. They've won this thing 9 times, and Equatorial Guinea is another side that has won it 3 times. Banyana Banyana has won it once. So they will always be the favorites to go out and win it because they always have the most experience. They always have the best players that are applying their trade in best leagues in the world.
Yeah.
Currently in their 21, 23 squad players, 21 of them play in big leagues, proper big leagues where they are competing in different continents.
Yeah.
So already that puts so much pressure on them. However, you look at them, they're a team that is sometimes aging, and nobody's afraid of Nigeria anymore. Because you look at how Botswana played yesterday. If they would have scored 1 goal, Botswana, it would have been a different ball game altogether. Banyana Banyana is no longer looking at Nigeria to say we are afraid of them or anything like that, because we are able to compete. So also, there's no team that is looking at Nigeria and saying we are afraid of them. Zambia beat them to get bronze medal in 2022.
Yeah.
So records are there to be broken. So every team that comes to this tournament, they fully qualified. They did it in style. For example, Tanzania beat Cote d'Ivoire, who's one of the best teams in Africa, to qualify for this WAFCON. So that shows you, Guti, every team that is out here needs to play every match like it's, the last game that they have to play. So for me, Nigeria might be the level, but teams need to strive even beyond Nigeria, because you might not find Nigeria in your next game. You might not find them in the semi-final.
Yeah.
In 2022, who knew that Banyana Banyana would beat them in the first game, and also who knew that Zambia would beat them in a 3rd and 4th place for them not to medal? So it's a tournament where you find teams like Banyana Banyana that are saying we are bringing the heat. So everyone else needs to step up and show up.
Indeed, Coach Simphiwe Dludlu. We're having a conversation. We're looking at everything. WAFCON, you're looking at Banyana Banyana. I'm having one of the best minds, one of the best analysts when it comes to the game of football, Simphiwe Dludlu, all the way from Morocco. You can also join in on the conversation. You can call us on our studio line 0861 987 000 and at Power FM 987, as well as at BBK Unplugged 99. And now, Coach Dludlu, you've mentioned Zambia a couple of times. There's a very special thing happening in this WAFCON in particular when we look at Zambia, because we've got in the person of Barbara Banda, a striker who's playing a very first WAFCON, who has a great mind and a great memory and was there in Australasia when we saw the World Cup, when it was hosted by New Zealand as well as Australia. Ubanda telling the world that she has arrived with the glorious goal. She's already playing a brace here in one particular match. What do you make of her? And do you think that she has it in her to eventually emerge as a top goal scorer, depending on where Zambia finishes in the tournament, of course?
She absolutely has it in her to be scoring goals. And what's beautiful about her is that she's not only looking to score goals herself, but she's also setting up her co-pilot there, Kunda Nanji.
Yes.
So that shows you that she's bringing so much talent. She's bringing so much hard work. Because she's also, you see her in transition from losing possession. She's working tirelessly. And she's just been consistent. Can you believe this is her first WAFCON that she's playing? But she's playing it like a seasoned campaigner. So that for me shows why she's doing so well at Orlando Pride, where she plays in America, how she moved from China, how she's been moving from country to country and doing her best. This shows us why she's one of the best players in the world right now, alongside Kunda Nanji, who had a record signing coming from Spain, going to the US. So for me, I look at Barbara. She's so humble. She works hard, and she's never selfish about things.
Yeah.
And she understands that she has to carry that Zambian side, but she also brings others into the game. They play to her strength, but she gives back by working hard for the team as well, which makes it so beautiful. She actually reminds me of Nokomatlo when she was still a striker, and that performance that she used to give also gave her a African Player of the Year, which is what Barbara has done as well. So I'm reminiscing watching her play. It reminds me of a young Nokomatlo.
You're taking me down memory lane indeed, Coach Simphiwe. And when I look at Twitter, I see Ufredi Gololo saying that BBK, that lady Simphiwe, is Coco when coming to analyzing the game. Her insight is amazing. Definitely getting the love and the recognition that you deserve there, Coach Simphiwe. But should we, and hopefully, okay, maybe let me just put it this way. When we finish with Tanzania and get our 3 points to take us, 6 points to take us to the quarterfinals, we have to complete the commitments of Group C, Coach Simphiwe, with Mali on Monday. What do we expect in that game? What do we see there? It will be great to go to the quarterfinals with a full complement of 9 points, 3 out of 3. Don't you think?
Absolutely. It would be important for Banyana Banyana to make sure that they go through with a full complement of 9.6 to 9 points, 6 to 9 points, because it then gives them an even better chance to say, how do we go through and play against which team? Because your seeding is important. You might find, Gucci, you end up second, and then you meet one of the strongest teams. But I'm sure Banyana Banyana will be ready to meet whoever that they meet. They just needed to start this tournament with 3 points, maximum points, and make sure it's also a confident performance that they are giving the people at home. Because, like we say, Banyana Banyana in this tournament, they are bringing the heat because they know that they are, when they say you're the girl you think you are, that's Banyana Banyana. Despite the challenges that they faced, they just come through and they show up. And that's what you want to see with this Banyana Banyana team. And it would be a big upset for them to have done so well. I mean, remember in 2018, they were in the final. And then also in 2022, they went all the way to win it. So it will be important for them to continue with the work. BBK, I have to go because kickoff is around the corner and I'm doing mic test on the booth. Commentary booth. So I'm cutting our interview short.
No problem, Coach. I anticipated this was going to happen, but before I let you go, the host, Morocco, you know that we beat them in the final to lift this on home soil, and we are back there trying to do it again. What have you made of them quickly before we leave us?
They've done so well. They are keeping up the momentum and also the intensity. They are not disappointing as the host. They just need to shut the back door and maybe they'll find themselves in the final.
pass our regards to the team, and do, when you see that Matlomula Morake, do tell him that we're waiting with the big cane here in studio with Rems Mabote, who's about to come through with the golf. He's a naughty
He's smiling
boy.
in front of me.
He must not
He's in the
smile.
booth. I see he's logged in. Can I just say au revoir?
Au revoir, au revoir. Je t'aime. All I can say is that I love you, Simphiwe. I love you, coach. Thank you very much for coming through.
Thank you.